1, 2, 3. Welcome back to Matt Sandwiches, the podcast where we unleash minds and challenge norms for your viewing and listening pleasure. Welcome back to episode 2. Just the two of us again, Jansen and I. Pretty good feedback on episode 1 from close friends. Obviously, we don't have that reach anymore, that TikTok clout. We're waiting for that to come back. Eventually it will. But yeah, pretty happy with how episode 1 went. How were your thoughts?
Very pleased with the feedback. Thank you guys for all the support, all the lovely messages you guys sent us. We appreciate you guys, and if you guys keep enjoying the content, be sure to like, subscribe, click the bell if you want to keep seeing the content. So yeah,
I think straight into it.
Okay.
I think we waffled for a good 15 minutes.
Yeah,
last episode.
we had to explain some things, but yeah,
that wasn't waffle. That was actually good content. It was more like getting back into things, I guess. So I want to start off with a quote I was looking into this morning, but it's kind of been with me for a while, and it popped back into my head this morning while I was at gym. And the quote goes, "Judge not that you have not." Sorry, let me start again.
Okay.
Judge not that you be not judged. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged, and with the measure you use it, it will be measured to you.
Okay.
Where do you think that's from?
The Bible.
Yeah. And it's from the best.
I'm not sure what verse. Probably Matthew.
Yeah, it's from the best. It's from Matthew.
The best verse.
Okay, but whatever.
The best book.
Yeah, whatever. Sort of, what do you call it? Perceptions you have about the Bible, religion. Put that aside. Just look at the quote for what it is. What was your sort of idea of what it meant when I sent it through to you this morning at 7 a.m.?
I actually asked a couple of people because it's good to hear from everyone's perspective. Everyone interprets Bible verses a bit differently. The first interpretation I got was that you should be careful to judge because, or when you judge, just remember that judgment needs to apply to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't be a hypocrite and call people out or judge them based on this standard if you don't hold yourself to that same standard.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I kind of interpreted. And then I went to my stepmom, who also had a discussion with me, and it was more about how God is and Jesus is the ultimate judge. No human beings should be judging each other. We all sin and we all make mistakes. Jesus and God is the ultimate judge.
Okay.
So that's how I interpret it.
Okay.
What did you think about it?
So I was kind of on my phone in between sets, and I did a bit more reading on the article, and it says here, the danger in passing judgment on others is that we'll have our own standard come back to us to haunt us, like the spirit of judgments in the past. So I think you kind of got to it with what the people you asked. It's like you kind of don't know what's going on in someone else's life, so for you to pass judgment on them it can come back to bite you, because you really say, for example, someone who's overweight in the gym, right? You look at them and what are they doing? Why are they so overweight? But you don't know that they maybe have some kind of traumatic past that causes them to overeat or something like that. And now they're in the gym to fix that, but you're there judging them the whole time, it's not fair. So I think that was the one way I took it, was don't judge people because you don't know what they're going through. Have the best intentions, and when you maybe give them advice, because it's important to call people out when you think there is a problem, right? You're allowed to give people advice. But also another thing I took it, the first way I took it actually was when you judge someone, just be careful, because the more judgmental you are of other people, I think they find that it also comes back to how judgmental you are of yourself, because you judge others just as much as you think you're being judged yourself.
Yeah.
Which is something I've kind of noticed, and I don't know why it popped to me in the gym. It's maybe it's because people are staring around, looking at each other a lot. Maybe it came from that. It's just, I think the more you are looking at each other and trying to take apart what they're doing, the more you do it to yourself, and you think others are doing it to you. So it's kind of a two-way kind of street, I guess. Yeah,
there's that saying, judge less to feel less judged.
I think that is the actual verse. I got some weird one. I don't know. It's
a weird one,
a reworded one.
I think it's when you become so self-conscious.
Yeah.
So you're so self-conscious about how people are perceiving you, and it's because you're always perceiving other people and judging everything that you see. So I think the more you live in the moment and judge less and just take people at face value and accept things the way they are, the less you'll be critical of yourself and how you're acting and how you're interchanging with society.
Yeah, but how do you find you put yourself in the moment? What do you do?
The best thing I learned, this kind of idea of being super self-conscious and being judgmental, I kind of linked it to a bit of social anxiety because you get so anxious and then you put all the attention on yourself and you think, oh wow, everyone's looking at me. Am I wearing the right thing? Is everyone judging me? And then you judge other people on their outfits, right? So the best thing to do, I found, was to put the attention on other people. So rather than constantly thinking about, am I saying the right things? Am I wearing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Just look at what other people are doing and put the attention on that. So rather than worrying about, am I looking good? Just talk to the person. Just talk to the person and ask the other person questions. And fully invest in the conversation you're having with that person face to face, rather than, is this person perceiving me in a certain
is he
way?
Looking at my skew eyebrow or something like that.
Right.
Something like that.
Right. Because you'll find when you start being super self-conscious and thinking, is he judging me? Is he judging me? And you're not listening to the conversation, then you're not listening, and then he asks you a question, and then you can't answer, and then it's even more awkward.
Yeah.
So the best is just to put all your attention on the present and on that present conversation and interaction with the person.
Yeah.
That's how I find I get through that.
Yeah, I think that's something I've also definitely been trying to do more, because I was the other side of the coin for pretty much until I was probably 19, 20. Other people are looking at me, people are like judging what I'm doing. Am I lifting this weight correctly? Am I walking like correctly? Am I putting my arms in the right place? Now it's more, I'm just in the gym or I'm in public, I'm listening to music, I'm walking around, I'm focusing on what I'm going to do, not what others are going to do. Like you zone into your own kind of space.
Yeah.
I think that also helps me. But then also on the flip side, when you're engaging with other people, fully focusing on being present with them in that kind of moment. Yeah, I think that's also how you like can engage with strangers more. Is if you're in your own mode, you're not worrying about what other people are thinking about you. If you wanted to approach a stranger in public, there's no kind of judgment of what they've been thinking about you and what you think about them, because you've only been like in your own space. You don't go up to the person thinking, oh, they were staring at me like 5 minutes ago, or they gave me like a funny look 5 minutes ago. It's more of an authentic experience when you approach people.
Yeah, it's like you hit on it there. It's more authentic, because I think a lot of the times you can go into it with preconceived ideas of that person, and most of the time they're just not true.
Yeah,
they're all made up in your head because you're so self-conscious. You think like, oh, the whole world's against you. So like you think, oh, they were judging me, they were looking at me sideways, they must not like me, or they must be intimidated by me. And in reality, it's probably not true at all. Yeah. And you'll find that out when you have an actual authentic conversation with them.
Yeah. What do you think are the best kind of ways to keep that conversation authentic though? Like, do you find you're asking like similar questions to people when you just meet them, or is it more like you introduce yourself and then kind of see where it goes?
Well, the thing I notice with a lot of people in the world right now, like just in everyday conversation, is people don't have authentic conversation because they don't listen. No one's actually listening to what the other person's saying. So what I see a lot is someone will bring up a point, maybe about themselves or about something, and then instead of that person who's listening, instead of them asking a question to further understand what that person's saying, they then change the subject and bring up something about themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it. Some people don't know how to further conversation. And so the first thing they lead to is, well, what can I say about myself? Because that's something I know. But I think it's far better you'll have a far better conversation if you're listening attentively to what they're saying. And then be curious. Ask a question to further understand what they're saying. Don't just accept it and change the subject. Truly try and understand what that person is saying. And you'll be surprised how far that can get you, because most people know they're not listened to.
Yeah.
So when they can see, oh, this guy's actually interested, he's asking me even more questions about what I'm talking about, and it's something I'm interested in. Wow, he's taking an interest in something I'm interested in. Boom, they instantly have a connection with you. Yeah. And they instantly think, oh, I like this guy.
Yeah. What do you think pushes people to talk about themselves so much in these interactions, though? What do you think it's stemming from?
Well, like I said, it's also some people are just like socially awkward or not good conversation people. So the
Is it
first
more
thing,
of a nerves thing? Or do you
yeah,
think-
it could be nerves because when you're talking about yourself, because it's the only thing you know. You
Yeah.
know about yourself.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, oh crap, I don't really know what he's talking about. I'll bring up something about me so I can understand what's going
Yeah.
on in the conversation, because then I can lead it.
Mm.
But I think people just need to be more curious and more understanding. Try and understand people more. Because it goes a long way.
Do you think there's ever like a narcissistic point of view from it, though, like where people talk about themselves because they just like talking about themselves, or is it?
Obviously, that is an aspect. Like especially in the world we live in now, like it's so individualistic. Everyone's like blocked out the whole world, and they're like, my goals. How do I achieve what I want to achieve? Everyone get out of my way. So there's this, and you see it with social media, like. Everyone's obsessed with how many followers do I have?
Yeah.
Am I getting likes? Are people engaging with me? Do people like me? These are the like common things that we're seeing with the social landscape, and it makes you very individualistic, very self-conscious, very self-absorbed. So for someone who's very self-absorbed, it's hard to be understanding and a good listener because you're just wanting to bring up something that you can talk about for yourself, because that's all you're obsessed about.
Yeah.
So what I recommend is to be less self-absorbed, is like take interest in other people, because other people are interesting.
Yeah. Do you not think it goes deeper than that, though, to be less self-absorbed, and just it's not just about engaging with other people, it's more work you can do by yourself, though, because self-absorption has something to do with your ego, I guess. So isn't it something you need to be working on in private, not just when you're trying to talk to other people?
What do you mean?
So like being self-absorbed in conversations.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of issue can be solved not just in practicing a conversation, it can be solved in private, and considering why you do these kind of things.
No, yeah, for sure. If you're very self-absorbed, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So that's not just something that will leak into your conversations with people. It will leak into your everyday persona.
Yeah.
So more people will see you as selfish. Less people would want to work with you because they think, oh, he's all for himself. So no one's going to want to talk to you. No one's going to want to work with you. And you can't survive on your own. As much as people want to think, oh, I'm all by myself and I can do it all on my own, most of the time you need social interaction. You need people. So you need to take an interest in something other than yourself.
Yeah.
That's just how the world works.
Yeah. But you also see that kind of that culture of in self-improvement, that do it by myself kind of thing, where guys preach the whole go ghost, like don't talk to anyone for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What do you think of that kind of?
You can't really just like, I get it. Sometimes you need to cut people out for a bit and work on yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I understand. That's how I see it, like how I take it. You need to go and be alone so that you can work on your things, your internal things.
Yeah.
If you're super anxious, you go work on that. If you feel like you're being super selfish and it makes you feel bad, or you're feeling guilty about something, then you need to isolate yourself maybe and sort that out within yourself.
Yeah.
But what I don't like is it's saying like you need to be alone. Sometimes you need to then go around people that really care about you.
Yeah.
Find people that care about you and that can help you, give you advice, seek guidance. So many times they say, yeah, go, like you say, isolate, do it on your own. But there's nothing wrong with going out and seeking guidance from people.
Yeah. But
you
then
can't
also
figure out all the answers to the world on your own.
Maybe the better response to the go ghost kind of movement, self-improvement thing, is seek advice, then go ghost and work on that, and then come up again when you need more advice. It's kind of like a bobbing kind of thing.
Yeah, but what does it mean by like go ghost?
Go ghost is kind of like, from what I understand,
Yeah.
This is the idea I have from social media, is going ghost is like not talking to anyone on your phone, like not reaching out to anyone per se. Like I'd rather say not reaching out to anyone from your phone. Kind of hard work on yourself. So lots of, from what I understand, gymming, lots of self work. So I assume that would include things like journaling, meditation, just kind of sitting alone with your thoughts without kind of outside influence, and also, I guess, things that can taint your mind, like drugs, alcohol, that kind of thing. Completely alone with your thoughts.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, sitting alone with your thoughts can be good.
Yeah.
If you do it too much, it can be extremely detrimental.
Yeah.
Because then you're all in your head. You're not getting any outside perspective. If you believed everything you told yourself in your head, you'd be miserable.
Yeah.
Because you know how your mind talks to you. Your
Yeah.
mind, you doubt yourself constantly. You criticize. Everyone's so critical of themselves.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with that, going ghost and isolating yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You need to talk to people. Be able to be vulnerable with people. Ask them, look, is this an issue? Do you notice this thing with me? How do you think I can change?
Yeah.
How do you think, what can help me? Ask for guidance, because that's when you can put things into perspective. Because oftentimes you're so self-critical, and then you make it bigger in your head, and then you're isolating yourself, and then you fall into this pit of depression, and I'm just a horrible person, and it's hard to get out of sometimes. So talking to someone who sees it from an outside perspective can then give you a new perspective on, oh, well, yeah, you're doing this thing kind of bad, but you're not even seeing the thing that you're doing really well.
Yeah.
And so it's important to have that balance. I get having your own thoughts, but don't just sit with your thoughts in your head all the time.
Yeah. I think from my experience of going ghost, like it works for give you a week and a half. Then you start craving that social interaction, like it's, and you I'll be honest, you get a lot done in that going ghost mode. But but when you come out of it, you kind of like are craving just someone to talk to, someone. So I'd probably rather preach maybe an alternative to going ghost is go into a community of people that are like working towards the same goal as you, because I promise you'll probably get the same amount done, if not more. Because now you've got like levers to pull if you need sort of help in certain areas, and you've got that interaction, and you've also got the drive of other people around you pushing you towards where you're supposed to be going. It's just finding that community of people that are going to push you like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's very important. I think in school you kind of get it because you get your cliques. In school you get your friend groups, and they generally seem to be like the same kind of people as you. But in your 20s and in university, it's a lot tougher, because you kind of pushed out into a new scenario, a new group of people, large groups of people, and you got to kind of rework what you had in school in a different way. And a lot of people, I think, also go down the wrong path in choosing their groups and cliques in university. You see guys switch up completely, and they become like stoners or something like that. They go from someone like who's been super diligent in school, someone who works hard because their friend group was that kind of friend group. Then they get out of university and they get involved with the wrong friend group, and they completely switch their goal and their trajectory that they're on. So I think, a community could be better in terms of pushing yourself than ghost mode, but having the right community is even more important. And I think, what would you say are some good ways to find yourself landing in those correct communities? What would you prioritize yourself doing to find that correct kind of community?
Well, I think you got to find people that have similar goals to you. So it's no use, like I do psychology, I wouldn't go speak to the kid that doesn't like to speak in class and gets bad grades and doesn't look really ambitious. There's no point in me having a conversation with that guy. Well, how am I going to advance? How are we going to advance each other? So what you need to do is look at other people who are similar to you, who are on similar pathways to you, who have similar goals and ambitions, and then bounce off them, learn off them, go have discussions like, well, how did you handle this assignment? Oh, I handled it like this, and you can bounce ideas off each other. So I think it's just about finding people that are on a similar goal and have similar ambitions to you.
I agree. I also wanted to bring up, first of all, we didn't even bring this up last episode, because I was supposed to bring it up when we were speaking about what we've been doing in our time away. And I started the Kaizen motivation page, which is I want to clear the air right now and try and have this on record, because Kaizen initially for me was just going to be a motivational page. I was going to push people through an affiliate link and then hopefully make some money off the page. About 3 to 4 months ago, I think that's probably accurate, it completely changed. I kind of got this vision of building a community of people where you can come in and get advice on what you've been looking for. You can find that person to talk to that is on the same trajectory as you. You can get free value, because what I've noticed, especially nowadays in the internet space, people trying to do self-improvement and trying to make money online. There's so much noise, and there's so much buy this course, buy that course. You need to follow this person to get where you want to be. and most of the time, like, it's complete rubbish. They lead you down like rabbit holes that bring you no value. So I wanted to first of all remove the paywall from getting this kind of value and this kind of community, because people are quite literally selling communities on the internet now. You have to buy into certain high value men communities, which I don't really see the point in doing, because you can just do it yourself. Like, you can go and find those people yourself. So that's what I want Kaizen to be, is a community where people who are trying to better themselves can come together, can come resonate around the values that we all share as that community, and help each other build each other up, hopefully for free. And I'm going to try provide like kind of giveaways for people with free course giveaways. Don't have to make you pay for them. So if you don't like them, at least you didn't dig yourself a hole of financial debt, that kind of thing. But also another thing in Kaizen that I've noticed is the comments and sort of the people I find in that page. It's more positive than it is negative, and that's what I also really pushed me to build this kind of community. It's like these videos that I'm posting are actually, it's not even my content, it's other people's content. It's just content that resonates with me. It's almost like a personal journal in a way for me. To like things I like, I post. And the content that resonates with people and the positivity you get back from you, it actually like helps people. And so that kind of inspired me to keep going, keep pushing that community of where people like the content can come and like kind of join together. And one of the videos I posted last night is now pushing on to, I think, 20,000 views plus now. And I just wanted to read like the small quote from it for you, and then get your thoughts, just like I started the episode with a quote, and I got another quote.
Okay.
And this is by Inky Johnson. I didn't know that was his name, but it's Inky Johnson. I hope I'm saying that right. It says, and he starts his quote saying, "Don't judge a person by where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. Judge them by where they stand in times of challenge and controversy." And I wanted to get your thoughts on that, because 20,000 people thought that was enough to watch the video fully and push it out to other people and like it. I think there's sitting on about 2,000 likes as well. So it's obviously, it's hit a nail with quite a few people. That video got the most like reshares in the story I've seen out of anything. It was nuts. I went out to the gym, came back, and I had like 30 story shares within an hour. I've never seen response like that from a video.
Well, when I saw it, I kind of, it's weird that you say that I'm in this response, because when I first saw it, I was kind of like confused. But then, if I'm thinking about it now, the way I interpret it is, don't judge people when things are easy, when things are comfortable and life's going good. You see people's true character when things are tough, when you have a challenge in your life. Is that
that's kind of what he's getting at, yeah.
Okay. No, I fully agree. You see who your real friends are when things start going bad.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, when things are good and you got the house and you got the money and you guys can go out and everything's fun and all your friends are there and everyone's happy. It's like, yeah, that's cool. But then what happens when, your family maybe goes bankrupt and you can't go out anymore?
Yeah.
Do your friends still care? Do they still make time to come see you? Yeah. Do they still invite you out? Like, that's who you see. That's when you see people's true character. So yeah, I fully agree.
Yeah. How do you think you can weed out characters like that without having to go bankrupt? Like, you kind of want to weed out those kind of friends early on. You don't really want to have to go bankrupt or lose a family member to find out that people aren't going to stick by you.
The thing is, I think people know. I think people truly know who's a real friend and who isn't. And I think they just put on a brave face like when they see them because they want to keep it friendly enough. But I think people know.
Yeah. So
you know when that guy's not really, he's not really about it.
Yeah. So do you think it's selfish from both sides then? It's kind of like a friendship of convenience, and that they both know that they're kind of using each other? Or do you think it can be a purely like one-sided thing where you can get blindsided by this?
Obviously, there are cases where, they're just using each other and they're both fine with that.
Yeah.
And I've seen that plenty of times. Like, people just use each other and they know they're using each other. They won't say it, but you can see the undertone is there, but they just go on like normal. That can be very toxic, because when stuff goes bad for one of them, then it's rough. It's rough on the person that's going through that hard time, because you feel alone. You feel like, that guy who was always there for me, like, and then he's gone. But I also think if you feel like a friend's using you, it depends on you. Like if it starts really hurting into your life, like if it makes your life difficult to be friends with them, then you should probably cut them off. If your life is not really that difficult and you see them now and again, maybe you can take it as an opportunity to not change them, but be as nice as you can and the best friend you can be to them, and maybe that shows them like, wow, this guy can actually be a really good friend to me.
Yeah.
Maybe I should change the way I treat him.
But isn't it transactional in that sense then? Because it's like, it's more, oh, he did this for me, I must do this for him now.
No. If you're being, I'm not saying be a good friend so that he can be a good friend to you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying be a good friend.
Yeah.
Be the best person you can be. You can't control what other people do. You can only control what you do. So be the best friend you can be. And if they appreciate that, then that's amazing. If you can live with being the good friend and them being a bad friend, and that doesn't hurt you, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But if, like I said, if it's draining for you to be a good friend and it hurts your life to be a good friend to them, and you're getting nothing back, then maybe pull out of it.
Yeah. I completely agree. And the second part of the quote was, when you work for something, you have a different type of attachment to it.
Yeah.
So I think this guy, he kind of went on from that point of, oh my God, I've gone blank. What did he go on from?
He was saying, I remember he was like, yeah, you'll see when guys really work for it, they value it more.
Yeah.
They don't want to let it go. And if you lose one or two things, it's okay because it's a part of the process. I didn't really understand that part. But
yeah, it was quite a weird segue.
Yeah.
Like it went in from, I thought he was talking more about friendships at first.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went into the hustle.
Yeah.
It was. I think it's been chopped up. It must have been.
I was gonna say, just some advice for you with those things. Like, the message can be good sometimes, but it's important to make sure it's like in context.
Yeah.
Because when it's out of context, sometimes you see it and then you're like, yeah, I get what he's trying to be like he's being motivational, but in what context? I don't really, and then the message is more clearer.
Sometimes you hear the music, like the violins in the background. Like,
oh, get you hyped.
Gonna go for a run today.
I know what he's saying is good. That's all I know. It's good though. Drop a comment. Fire.
Yeah.
Flames.
No fire emojis.
This is class.
Yeah.
Great content.
Yeah.
Context is important.
Yeah. And then one thing I wanted to revisit from last week, because you mentioned it, and I wasn't 100% agreeing with you at the time. I just didn't know how to voice that to you.
Okay.
And it was the getting in the gym for football thing. You said that you have a purpose now for getting in the gym, right? And that is football. And I said, what if you lose football? But you said, no, but I'll never lose football.
Yeah.
And say now you get like a career-ending injury. If you step on a football pitch again, it's gonna just completely like destroy you, like either your leg or whatever's injured, right?
Yeah.
Then what?
No. I actually did think about that conversation. Because my view isn't purely that you must have like, oh, football is my why. My why has changed. Like before where it was, I was just doing it for outside reassurance. My why changed afterwards as well.
Yeah.
So I actually have the quote here.
Okay.
This quote.
Battle of the quotes, eh?
This quote is I really enjoyed this quote because I think it's so true, and it's one of the reasons why I like training and like gymming.
Nice and slow for the clip.
I'd say no man has the right to be amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. Socrates.
I was an Oscar that was by.
So yeah, I really like that quote because I think it's so true. The human body is so strong, so powerful. And there's so many like just benefits that you get from having a stronger body, a healthier body, just everyday life circumstances. And even if you take it to like a survival biological thing, I think the reason people are less motivated to work on their bodies and gym is because we live in a comfortable world.
Yeah.
We don't need to survive anymore in the outdoors, like harsh conditions, animals chasing us. Like that stuff doesn't exist anymore. We've got guns, we've got houses, we can chill. Like no one's motivated to
saps.
Saps. No one's motivated to work on their bodies anymore. But I think there are still advantages, like in a crisis, if you need to run and save someone, you're faster, you're stronger in that circumstance. You're more likely to save that person than someone who is obese, can't move, can't run. Like, they're in trouble in a catastrophe. They are in trouble. They're dying first. You're surviving because you're fit. You can run. You're agile. You can move around things. Like, there's just that. Why wouldn't you want that benefit? Why wouldn't you want to see the potential of your body, not just in your mind, in your physical ability as well?
So do you think that's more of your why?
Yeah. So if I say I couldn't play football again.
Yeah.
I'd probably find another sport because I love sports and I want to play sports.
Yeah.
But just in general, I think the sport I'd do is boxing because I like the idea of incorporating your shadow, like your dark side, and incorporating that into motivation and discipline.
Yeah.
So just to see how strong I can get, how far can I go, how high can I jump, how long can I run, how fast can I run, like that kind of stuff actually gets me excited. Like it makes me want to train.
Yeah. Do you think your motivation to do something like that has grown since you got out of school? Because in school, I think you got to kind of get into that lull, that rhythm of practice 2 times a day, gym also before that, and you kind of like it's you getting told what to do.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like, well, no one's telling me what to do.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do it anyway. Like, where do you think that shift was in the mindset?
No, I just think it's funny because I remember in high school you used to hate gym.
I used to run from the gym.
I used to like hate it. We were like, oh, we have to gym now, and then there's hockey practice straight after gym. Like, and I think the reason we felt like that then is you have to remember we were like high school kids, and we went to a school where there was a lot of responsibility and expectation put upon us. We had to have a long day of school, like long days where we have to put all our focus in. Then straight after school, we're gymming, and then straight after school, we're doing a 2-hour hockey practice. That's a lot to ask of like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old. No wonder we weren't motivated to gym. You know what I mean? We were exhausted.
Gym to me felt like an extension of the classroom, because it's like someone tells me what to do in class. Then now I must go gym, and you're going to tell me what to do again. Exactly. And this time it's like, it's tiring on my body, not just my mind. So it's kind of like just like on top of each other.
And the funny thing is both of those occasions where people are telling you what to do, it is all for your benefit. Yeah. It's all for your benefit. Like the amount of times like after high school, I was like, damn, I should have been focused in those gym classes. Like, because all the stuff that I didn't want to do in gym then is the stuff I'm doing now. All the same exercises. And I'm like, I just think, how far could I have been if I just put in the effort? But again, I wasn't that motivated in high school. Like, I didn't really care. I didn't want to be that great at hockey or that, you know what I mean? I didn't want to put in that hard work. But I think what happens after high school, you realize you can't just be the best hockey player. You can't just be the best soccer player. You need to go put in work outside of practice, outside of everyday stuff. You need to constantly work on it.
Yeah. How big was that shock to you coming out of school where you're competing against 4 or 5 schools in a season to I'm competing against the whole world now?
Right.
Like you're a psychologist in the entire world now. You're competing against other psychologists. Yeah. You're a football player, and the people you're competing against is the entire world. How big of a shock was that to you, like that you could never be the best again like you were in school?
Yeah, I think every top sportsman has that realization. You have it when you go from junior school to high school. You were like, I was the best in junior school. I'm so good. Then you get to high school and there's way more kids, and there's a lot of kids on your level or better than you. And you're like, oh, damn, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Yeah. And the same thing applies when you leave high school. You go to college and you're like, oh, damn, it's not just this province. It's like, oh, the whole country is here now. Oh, I'm not as good as I was. But what I think it should do is you shouldn't be discouraged by that. Don't be like, oh, damn, I'm not as good as I was. It means there's opportunity for growth. Go and put in the work. I promise you, the work pays off. Yeah. You see it in all these examples. I was watching the Conor McGregor documentary, and he was talking about like how he used to grind. Out of all the people in Dublin, he was the only one who really knew what was going on in MMA. Yeah. Look at what he's done for MMA in Dublin now. Everyone wants to be an MMA fighter. It shows you just got to put in the hard work and be dedicated. Lose your mind in the game. Be obsessed. Because if you want it enough, you'll put in the work and you'll get there.
Yeah. I think I've had a bit of an experience like that now with my personal financial journey. It's like sometimes I'm sitting in my room and it's hour 11 into the workday and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, my friends are busy like drinking right now, or they're out at a restaurant right now. What am I doing at my laptop? And then sometimes you kind of you look at it and you're like, I'm wasting my time. Like I could be doing something else. I could be with my friends. I could, like, why am I doing this work specifically? And then you kind of hit those milestones that you were talking about a month ago.
Yeah.
Then you hit another milestone that you were talking about 2 months ago, and you kind of like, okay, on those days you realize, I'm so glad I sat at my desk that day. I'm glad I put in the work that day.
Yeah.
And those are kind of, those moments are what you need to keep in your mind when you're sitting at your desk and you feel like you're obsessing over something. It's for those moments is what you're working for.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember. It's don't climb the mountain to be seen. It's climb the mountain to get the view. Like put in the work to get to the top. Don't put in the work so people can see you at the top.
That's facts.
That's something I saw. I can't remember what page. I think it's also a stoicism quote.
It again leads to what we were discussing last week with not doing things for outside reassurance. You got to have that motivation within yourself. It can't be external. It's got to be internal. And also, we spoke about it last week. It's not about it's hitting those milestones. It's achieving the goals, getting closer and closer to where you want to be. That will make you way more happier than any night out will, than any drink will, than any weed session, drug session, whatever. Yeah. That short-term gratification, nothing compares to that hitting that milestone of getting closer to where you want to be.
Yeah. I think that's with Kaizen especially. I've gotten a bit obsessed. Yesterday I put in quite a bit of time on Kaizen and just didn't eat, didn't go to the bathroom. I was literally holding in a pee, like just trying to finish the work. Because I told myself the more I need to pee, then the faster I'm going to do this. Like you just get in a zone, and then you see the results, and then you get that kind of the view count that you wanted. You get more people onto the website. You see people reading your stuff, engaging with your stuff, enjoying and taking value from what you've written, and then that's when you see it. But the thing is, it could be 2 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years before you start seeing that. Yeah. But don't lose sight of what you're working towards. Even in when people are saying like, come out for a drink, like you're always working. Yeah. You're always at the gym. You're always doing this. You need to have faith in your vision and where you're going as a person. Yeah. And that's gonna push you through those moments when you are feeling a bit obsessed, feeling a bit crazy, like in your room or at the gym.
Well, while we're talking about the gym, I also thought about this, like, for the people, like you say, it takes months. It takes sometimes years before you see results.
It may never happen. That's the sad thing for some. It may never happen, but
results from like gymming.
No, not like that. It's for like a greater purpose that they've been working to. They may never get to where they're going. Right. But I think pursuing that goal and dedicating yourself is so much greater than just never starting or never trying. Facts. The pursuit of that goal is more important than the achievement sometimes. Like it's just like giving your everything for a certain purpose, if it's a good purpose, I guess.
Exactly. Well, it makes me think about the Giannis quote when the guy asked him, like, was your season a failure? And he said, like, nah, like when Michael Jordan was he won the title 6 times, or all those other seasons, are they all failures? And it's like, no, the real failure is, like you say, it's not doing anything. Not trying is failing. If you keep working on it and it doesn't go your way, you're not a failure. You're just learning. It sounds cliche, but it's true. You have to just learn from that loss and come back stronger. But you're not a failure. You absolutely are not a failure. But this is why I wanted to speak about, like, to the people that are struggling maybe with being disciplined enough to gym, and you're gymming and you're not seeing the results. Because I see it all the time. I speak to people that are like, yeah, man, I've been doing this for like 3 weeks, and I look in the mirror, I see no difference. I'm like, bro, you're never gonna see a change in 3 weeks. Yeah, it's the sad reality, but it's just how it is. The key to gymming and the key to training is discipline. 100%, it's commitment. You have to do it every single week. And you can't get tired after 3 weeks. You're not going to see progress. You've got to do this. Try it for 4 months. And if there's no results, then maybe I can say, give it up, bro. Yeah. But I'm telling you, it takes 4 months, 5 months, 6 months before you see real change.
And that's not even just for gym. It's for everything. It's
for everything.
Business. Like you can't say you're going to sell stones special colored stones.
Yeah.
You can't try and sell stones for 3 weeks and think, oh, no one bought my stone.
I guess no one likes stones.
No one likes stones. When Johnny over there has been selling stones for 6 years and now selling 50,000 stones a week.
Right.
How do you think he got there? Because he's been doing it for, what is it, 24 extra months, 27 extra months than you.
Don't try and form a new habit like reading. Say, yeah, I tried reading for 2 weeks, didn't really work out. I don't think reading's for me.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks, bro. Try it longer. Keep going. Don't give up. I think that's the biggest problem with the society we live in now. People give up way too soon.
Yeah.
Sometimes
But why do you think that is?
Short-term gratification.
Yeah.
People don't understand the idea of long-term gratification, long-term success. My favorite picture I saw when it comes to this topic was a guy digging, and he digs a hole like for meters, hundreds of meters, and just as he gives up, the gold was just on the other end.
Yeah.
That's really how it is.
Yeah.
Most people give up just before they hit a breakthrough.
Yeah. I think everyone who's achieved like something massive in their lifetime has said that they would, like, just before they were about to give up, that's when they were this close to the goal, and they find that just because they pushed that little bit harder, little bit harder,
Yeah.
they made that breakthrough. It's something that the concept, like, just try one more day. Can you, like, you can't, okay, you can give up 1 week, can you give me one more day?
One more day.
Can you do more with
I like that.
Just
I like that.
That's what I tell myself when I'm in my room in those 11 hours. I'm like, yo, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to, like, I'm done with this. I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm just going to quit. And it's like, okay, but just try again tomorrow. Maybe it'll be better tomorrow. And that's how I keep going. Because every day, like, every time I'm about to give up, like, just tomorrow. You'll get it tomorrow.
The time when you are telling yourself, when your body and your mind is telling you, stop, give up, try something else, give up. That is the exact moment where you need to push on. And just keep going. Yeah. One more day.
Yeah, and I think the more you stack up those one more days, it's harder and harder to quit, because you get to, like, almost a point of no return in those sort of investments in yourself and your business and your gym. Like, it's kind of like, I've done 6 months of work.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna stop now. Like, did I just waste 6 months of my life to like quit now? That's kind of how I've gotten in a lot of my ventures, and that's why I don't think I can't stop now. It's just it is what it is. I'm on a track, and it's gonna either crash and burn, or it's gonna work out.
Something like gymming and training, it can't just be something you've done for 3 weeks or a month even. It needs to be something that becomes so routine.
Yeah.
So routine that it's like, oh, it's just the everyday thing. Yeah. And if you've been doing that for 6 years, 5 years, a year, and nothing happens, then yeah, you can give up. But I can guarantee, if you've been doing something consistently for a year, you're gonna see some progress.
Yeah, you can make some kind of breakthrough.
Something.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to find a way to enjoy it somehow. Find a way to make that process enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like gym now, I'm excited to wake up at 6. I'm excited to get to the gym, because it's just like it's like days going, like we're getting started right now at gym. It's like it's kind of the snowball effect of my days. Like I start off with the hardest thing, make that little snowball, fairly big snowball, and now we're just gonna roll the ball down the hill. That's kind of how I see it now. So it's like it's exciting to get into that mode of gym. I actually find on days when I don't train, I'm less productive overall. Like I don't train on days that I have hockey training, because I want to preserve my energy for late in the day. And I actually find I wake up later. I find it more difficult to make progress on my work throughout the day, because I haven't had that like bang
kick
energy. Start the day. Like, you did the hardest thing.
Right.
Now what?
Right. And that is exactly like how dopamine receptors work. Your threshold becomes higher, and so you chase that hit more. So no, you're absolutely right. Start with the most difficult thing, get it done. Yeah.
Trying to think.
Something I actually wanted to bring up, if we can. Do you want to move on?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Do you think college is important?
Okay. I've had a bit of what do you call it? Like, I've had a bit of distance from university.
Yeah.
Okay. So initially, you saw me go through this myself. My last year of university was probably the closest I've been to, like, depression, I guess. Like, everything sucked. I hated everyone. I didn't want to speak to everyone. I pushed everyone away because I was having, like, the worst time. I didn't enjoy my studies. I thought everything I was learning was completely useless. I thought everything that was being taught to me was completely useless. I thought everyone that was talking about the work around me was useless because like you're talking about complete rubbish that I don't care about. And I realized that mindset was just me getting in my own head. My 3 years of college were useful. I studied the wrong thing. That's my fault. That's on me. I should have maybe taken more time to decide what I wanted to study. So that was kind of my perception of university when I was at it. Now that I look back on it and giving advice to people who are considering going to university, if you don't know what to study, and this is my opinion, rather take a gap year. Don't go in, because I promise you get into that first year and you're like, well, I've already done a year. I might as well finish the other two. Like, you get into that kind of mindset, and then you spend the next 2 years of your life like miserable studying something you don't want to study. So that would be my advice. Like, if you don't really know what you want to study, take a gap year, and figure out if studying is even for you. But also in your gap year, don't waste your time. Don't go party in Ibiza, or don't go travel.
Party in Ibiza, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's okay.
I never got to party in Ibiza for my gap year.
Go party in Ibiza for like a week, and then go do something productive with your life. I think your gap year, if you are going to take that gap year and not study, needs to be spent figuring out what the next step is. Yeah. It shouldn't be wasting your time smoking weed in your bedroom, going to parties. It should be every week I'm going to try something new, or every month I'm going to try something new to find out where I'm going next. Because your 20s, I believe, should be the most productive time of your life. It's when you have the most energy, the most time. Unfortunately, the least money for most people as well. So you need to trade your time and your energy to figuring out what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So those college years, my advice again, if you don't know what you want to do, take a gap year. If you do know what you're going to study, go into it. But also don't be afraid to adjust what you're studying sometimes, because sometimes you kind of get the degree right, like sort of right, but you need to tweak it a bit. And don't be afraid to make that tweak, because in the grand scheme of things, losing a year to a degree that's not exactly right to you is not that big of a deal if you can make that adjustment quickly. It's when you're studying 4 or 5 years of a degree and you get out of it and you're just like, I just wasted 5 years. I actually spoke to a guy who has a master's degree. He's done 8 years of studying, and he said to me, like, I just wasted 8 years of my life. And I disagree with that. I don't think he wasted his life. I think he spent 8 years figuring out what he wanted to do, and it just took that studying and that learning to figure that out. So also, if you do study, say you get through the 3-4 years and you realize it wasn't for you, you didn't waste 3 to 4 years of your life. You spent 3 to 4 years of your life figuring out exactly what you wanted to do. Same with me. And that's why my perception of college is now no longer as negative as it was while I was in it. Because I spent 3 years figuring out I don't want to be a lawyer. I figured out what I wanted to do in my final year of study. And I think it took me hating my degree to force myself to figure out what I wanted to do. It was kind of like pushing me over the edge. It was like, you're not going to do this. So what are you going to do? And I had to figure it out. So that was kind of my view on things. Take action. Don't sit in your room and feeling sorry for yourself. If there's a problem, the only way it's going to get solved, you're not going to think your way out of the problem. You're going to take action to get it out of your problem. So that would be my advice for people struggling with college. I don't think college is necessarily a bad thing. I just don't think it's for everyone.
No, I 100% agree with everything you just said. Colleges and university is so expensive. Like,
overpriced. Do you think it's overpriced?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I won't get into too much detail on that.
Yeah.
But I think it's so expensive.
Lawsuit.
It's so expensive. It shouldn't be something that you rush into. Like, imagine putting your parents through all that debt for you to then tell them, yeah, I don't want to use this degree in my life. That's a horrible thing to do. And I think it's also parents' fault, because I think parents force kids into studying straight out of high school.
Yeah.
Because I think they have a negative view of what a gap year is. People who view a gap year as sitting at home and doing nothing, that is a horrible gap year. A gap year should be where you maybe get a part-time job, earn a bit of money, but go out and try things. Like, do courses, do short courses, go to readings, go ask a friend who's studying something you're thinking about studying, go see what he's doing, go see what other students are doing. You should be exploring. A gap year shouldn't be a time where you do nothing, because by the end of it, you're going to be in the same spot. You're going to be like, well, I learned nothing this year. I don't know what to do. I still don't know what to do with my life. What you need to do is go out and try things and see what you like.
Yeah.
See what things are not for you and see what things are for you. But like you say, yeah, a gap year needs to be productive. It's not just sitting and doing nothing. The reason I brought up this question is it was kind of under my list of things I wanted to talk about last week when we were talking about the Red Pill ideology and Andrew
Yeah.
Tate and all of that. What I don't like about that whole ideology is this idea that, like, oh, university and college is a waste of time and it's just a way of getting you into the matrix and things like that. The research shows that 80 the average income of people who have a tertiary education is 84% higher than someone who just has a high school diploma.
Yeah.
There's clear benefits to going to tertiary education, which is kind of why I'm kind of against this idea that the Red Pill people push in that, oh, college is a waste of time, go do drop shipping and cam goals. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's I think that's horrible advice to give young people.
But it's so influential again. I'll use that word again because it's like the get rich quick kind of shiny objects.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why should I study 8 years to be a doctor when I can make $1 million online in a year? It's like, do you understand? I'm not discouraging people that want to do that. Like, if you want to be a dropshipper, go for it. But understand, like, no one's just going to hand you $1 million on a plate. Like, no one's just going to, it's not going to come easy. None of this is going to come easy. So it's going to be just as hard studying that doctor's degree as it is to make $1 million online. And if you think it's not,
you'll find out.
You'll find out. Yeah, you'll find out. You'll work just as hard as doctors do in 3 years of your life that the doctors work in 8.
Right.
To figure out how to get to where they are. So just understand, if you are looking to take that route of dropping out and not getting a college degree, it is flipping difficult. Like, when they talk about 1% earners, there's a reason 99% of people aren't there. Like, it's because it's hard. It's really difficult. And I think you need to understand that before you kind of make these rash decisions.
Dropping out of college and saying I'm going to make it doing drop shipping and cam goals is like saying I'm going to drop out of high school and be an NBA player. Like, yeah. I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
Like, what are the chances?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Where did I see that comparison? That's a good point though.
It's like, yeah, no, mom, I'm going to drop out of college. I'm going to be a professional soccer player.
It's like playing second team hockey and then telling yourself, well, no, I'm going to be a national player in a year.
Right.
In a year.
Right.
Just give me time. I started hockey last year, but I'm going to be a national
player.
Like,
I have no credentials or any work put in, but I'm going to be there. Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's just experience.
Yeah, but the thing is, it is possible. Like, I'm not saying it's not.
No one's saying it's possible to be an NBA player.
It is fully possible, but understand the work it takes.
Exactly.
Understand the work it takes.
It's not easy.
These guys who are preaching to you on the internet, most of the time, like, a lot of these guys have just got lucky on a crypto pump. So just be careful of who you're listening to and whose advice you're taking, because they'll stand on that mountain of $1 million, and then what you don't realize is that they bought some like pancake coin 2 years ago and now they're a millionaire and they don't actually know what they're doing.
That's the other thing, like with crypto. Like, a guy can be like, hey guys, invest in crypto. Like, look how much money I'm like made millions of crypto. That's not accounting for all the other people who invest in crypto and completely failed, completely lost all their money.
Yeah.
Like, there's far more people losing money on crypto than there are making a lot of money.
Again, I go back to that saying, the top 1% of earners, there's 99% of the people that didn't get there.
Are not there.
So understand what it's going to take to break into that 1%.
Yeah. No. Not for me, Yeah. Well, in terms of money and revenue, this is another topic I think we should bring up. To what extent, I'll ask you directly, to what extent do your morals have an influence on your money and your revenue?
I think you always need to have them guide you in a sense, because otherwise you're gonna have this money, it's gonna feel like blood money, I guess, in a way. Like, you're not gonna want to spend it, you're not gonna want to use it to better yourself or invest. I think when you have that money that you got in a way that you're not entirely proud of, you're not gonna use it correctly. You're not gonna use it for beneficial means, I guess. So what I always make sure as a marketer, when I'm getting my money, I can't take your money unless I'm genuinely helping you make more money or expand your business. I feel terrible when I take your money at the end of the month and we've made zero progress. that for me feels like it feels criminal. I have problems spending that money. I have problems in putting that money into different assets. It's just something I can't do. That's why I always ask like my clients, are you happy with the service? Or I'm asking people I'm working with, are you happy with the service? Are we working towards something? Is it moving? Because if it's not, then I'd rather you fire me. I don't want to take your money.
You don't want to feel like you're robbing people.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I think that's what people get so wrong about, like specifically salesmen and businesses, is they're there to solve a problem for you. And I think what crappy salesmen especially have given businesses a reputation of is they're there to like exploit you, when that's not the case. If you can approach sales and business from a point of view of you are there to help the person, I think you'll be a much better business and a much better salesman in overall. And I think a lot of people need to understand that sales is not like a money grab. I'm going to approach 50 people and get like a few people like without even helping them. I just want to just give me your money. It's not that.
Right.
I need, how many people can I help with the service I know is perfect for them? That's the angle you need to come from.
Right. Okay, well, and then in terms of morals in this case, like, for example, what about a guy that says, yeah, I'm anti-cigarettes. Cigarettes are so bad for people. I have a family member that died of cigarettes. I'm so anti-cigarettes. They're disgusting. People shouldn't be smoking. It's a crime it's a crime to be encouraging cigarettes. But then that same guy who says all that works for a cigarette company and produces cigarettes, or maybe even is a cigarette salesman. He encourages people to sell cigarettes, but he has that negative view of what cigarettes do to people. What do you think about that?
I think as long as it's not personally impacting him, if he's a good cigarette salesman and he's getting, again, because this is what I always go back to, it's like, am I providing value for the company that they're providing a legal service? Like, don't be a cocaine dealer and like, I'm providing value selling cocaine. Like, don't do illegal stuff. Like, cigarettes are legal. Is he providing value for the company as a salesman? Because people can sell stuff they have no idea about, as long as they understand the value in the product and they understand that they can bring that value to someone else. Like, I could go sell soap tomorrow. I don't care about soap, but I could still.
Okay, I'm not saying so much do they care about the product or do they know about the product. What if they think that product is detrimental to society? Like, they think, oh no, cigarette smoking, it's bad, it's killing people, it's horrible. Yet they go out and they produce and sell cigarettes and market cigarettes.
Yeah, I don't think that they would get into that industry then, because you'd never be able to sell a product like that then. You wouldn't.
But you'll be surprised that there are people who have maybe different moral views to what they're doing, but they do it anyway because the money's so good.
Yeah, but I think that would come across in your sales even. Like, you would approach clients or potential businesses with your product, and you wouldn't present it with that conviction. You would be like, yeah, here's a box of cigarettes. We're selling this. It's got this many grams of nicotine. That kind of. It's not like you need this because it does this for you. It's not like you don't have that kind of investment into the product. You wouldn't be able to sell it. So that's why I don't think they would be able to sell it at all. They wouldn't have that conviction in providing that kind of that product or service to someone.
Okay. So you don't think there could be someone that lies straight up just because they know the money?
They're kind of like a psychopath, I guess.
Because I can imagine that there are people that put on a face and, yeah, this cigarette's great, so-and-so. Then out of it, they're like, yeah, cigarettes are horrible. Cigarettes are terrible. But the money's really good from my job, so I don't want to quit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
So what do you think people should do? Do you think that's fine in that case, or do you think
what, like, if they don't like cigarettes and they must sell it, they sell it because the money's good?
Yeah.
It depends how much it's impacting you, I guess. If you go home and it's like an itch in the back of your neck, like it's just constantly, it's there on your shoulders.
Right. If you're feeling a lot of guilt from it,
you probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You really shouldn't, because like the cost on your health and your mental like capacity is going to be too much, and you'll probably start developing like literal health problems from it because of the stress.
Right.
And I don't think you should be doing something like that. Whereas if it's kind of not really impacting you and you're selling it, then I don't see a problem with why you would do it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a kind of person that if I'm gonna sell, like when I try and like have a conversation about those kind of things with people, I'm too open about it. I'm just gonna be like, if I'm selling you something, you're gonna see through whether I believe in it or not.
Right.
Because I'll slip up. I can't like sell you something I don't believe in.
Right. The reason I kind of brought it up is because I think there are situations, especially in today's society, where everything is like so materialistic and people are chasing that money and that dream. I think sometimes you can throw away your morals and your values just so you can make money. And I think a lot of people can live with guilt because of doing that. So another quote that I found was, what does it profit a man to gain all the worldly things but lose his soul?
All the worldly things. That's like money, the house, the car. Yeah.
So, yeah, to someone that's in that situation where you may be feeling shame or guilt about what you do as a career, but you need the money and or the money's really good, just be careful, because you could lose yourself in the process. You could lose what you truly value, and then you become someone you didn't like, or you become someone that you don't want to be. So for me, it's important that you hold on to your values and your beliefs, because that's you at the end of the day. That's who you are. So don't lose who you are to chase something that's materialistic, because at the end of it, when you have all the money and you have the house and you have the cars, what's going to be left of you? And what are you going to give then to your next generation, to your kids?
Yeah, that's always something I think about. Like, what are you going to tell your children? Like, imagine you built your entire family empire on selling like cocaine,
right?
And then your kids come to you with that, like, Dad, how did we get this car?
Right.
Don't worry about it.
Well, this is kind of another point that I wanted to mention about my problems with Andrew Tate and his whole philosophy. Like, and I get your point that you were making, that he's doing this materialistic stuff, shiny object syndrome, because it's good marketing.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be like, wow, that's the stuff I'm attracted to. But the problem is, even if that's not the message he wants at the end of the day, even if his message is truly deeper than just those materialistic things, if you sell yourself enough, you're going to lose yourself in the process. So sure, maybe Andrew Tate's message at the end of the day is more meaningful and more fulfilling. But if he's willing to throw away his values and what he actually values and his character in order to get fame and eyes on him and influence, it's a hard line.
Yeah,
you're selling your soul to the devil at that point. So that's just my problem with how he's risen to fame, like making money through cam girls and casinos. Yeah, it's not really
casinos. I'm not entirely sure about, but I think it is true.
I think it is. Yeah. It's not really a virtuous way to make it in the world, and I feel like he preaches virtues all the time. Yeah. So I see a bit of hypocrisy in that.
That's a good point. But those are like from a marketing perspective, the most lucrative avenues. Women.
Yeah.
Animals, for some reason, people love. They love a cute animal. Food, and also the gambling industry. Right. Multi-million-dollar industries.
But again, that's why I go back to this quote. Like, you're talking about making money through goals and cams goals and casinos. Again, what does it profit a man to gain all the worldly things but lose his soul? Make sure that you're not just going against your beliefs so that you can make money, because you will lose yourself. Yeah, that's the ultimate message I'm just trying to put forward.
Yeah, and I think on that,
we've been going for well over an hour, I think.
Yeah, I think on that note, we'll leave it. We'll leave it to sit with them.
I just want to check if where's the time?
The bottom right. What is it?
I was gonna bring up something else, but it would go a bit long. We can bring it up next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we'll enter enough stuff.
Yeah. I think on that note, what does it mean? What one more time with the quote? Do you remember it?
What
is it? Do the quote again.
Which quote?
Worldly things.
Oh, what does it profit a man?
Into the camera.
I need to read it again.
We want to leave you with this note, and then it's gonna cut. Super dramatic.
What does it profit a man to gain all the worldly things but lose his soul?